Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. When the Tigers and Angels get together, two of the great players in the game square off. The Tigers have Miguel Cabrera, the MVP in 2012 and 2013. Meanwhile, Mike Trout suits it up for the Angels. He won the MVP last year. One thing they do have in common, a mutual respect. Trout and the Angels, Cabrera and the Tigers tonight from Anaheim. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us here for Game 2. The Tigers bats again were silent last night, but tonight is a new night. Going into the ninth inning last night, Rod, the Tigers had just 2 hits.
Well, hopefully the Tigers bats do show up here. It's a puzzling team. They have a lot of guys that have had a lot of hits this year. They've driven in a lot of runs, but lately they've kind of stubbed their toe. They're just not scoring enough runs.
All right, now, again, this game will feature 2 of the best players in the game. People are always comparing Mike Trout to Miguel Cabrera, so we thought we'd do the same here. Here are some of the numbers since 2012. Cabrera has a better average. Cabrera has hit more home runs. Between them, 6 All-Star games and 3 MVPs. Trout has had the higher WAR between the 2 players, but there's no question these 2 are great players. Mike Trout also, Rod, does the little things as well.
Well, Trout's one of the reasons why his WAR is so much higher than Miguel Cabrera's is the fact that what he does on the defensive end and also running the bases. And I'll give you an example in last night's game. Rajai Davis singles. He holds him to a single there after Rajai attempted to stretch that into a double. And then Miggy finally catches up one to right center field. There's Trout to run it down. He made that play look like it was a routine play, and Miguel Cabrera said as much. So you have 2 of the more dynamic players in the game today. Both guys get it done in sort of different ways. Trout with his legs and his power and his defense. Miggy, of course, with his bat, and he also plays real nice first base.
All right, Tigers getting set for Game 2 of the series. Hopefully the bats come alive, and right now we send you back to the Call Sam Studios. Justin Lake. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Ram, come discover great deals during the Ram Drive and Discover event. And by Spartan Stores. For locations, visit turntospartan.com. This is where Ron Allen was hanging out earlier this afternoon, the beach in Newport Beach. Here there.
I wish I could have got over there today.
Beautiful day in Southern California. The Angels have taken the field here tonight.
Santiago, every time he goes to the mound, he draws lines right down the plate. The mound on both sides. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to land right in between where he is drawing those lines. I've never seen a pitcher do that before, but it's one way to keep you on track. It keeps your landing spot in the same spot as well.
That is a first for me as well. Here's the Tigers starting lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers tonight. Rajai Davis, a little bit of a different look with the lefty on the mound leading off in center. Kinsler at second, Cabrera's at first, a middle three of Cespedes, Martinez, and McCann. Castellanos DHing tonight, then Perez and Iglesias. And they are facing the left-handed offerings of Santiago.
Santiago, he has seen the Tigers in the past, and really they haven't had a lot of success against him as far as the ERA is concerned. He hasn't won many games against Detroit, but this guy's got some good stuff. Fastball gets all the way up to 94. He's got a real nice changeup. He's got a slider as well, and he loves to pitch inside. Let's take a look at the Angels starting defense. It is brought to you by Tim Hortons. In the outfield, they have Neuenhuis, they have Trout, they have Calhoun, Featherston and Giovantelli up the middle, Freeze and Pujols on the corners. Iannetta, he is a catcher. They rank second among all outfielders since 2012 in putouts. That would be Mike Trout. That's why he's able to cover so much ground out there.
All right, we're ready for baseball here tonight on a gorgeous evening here in Southern California. Rajai Davis is set to start things off for the Tigers. Rajai been DHing a little bit lately. Now he's back out in center field in this one. And the first pitch is in for a strike on Davis. Anthony Ghost gets the night off tonight with the lefty on the hill. Rajai at 267. Santiago missing high, and the count levels now at 1-1.
You would think that this Tigers team, because it is so right-handed dominant, they would be a little bit better against left-handers. They've seen left-handers in the last 3 consecutive games, but yet they have not really been able to do a lot.
Yeah, it really does make you wonder a little bit.
Kazmir a few days ago in Oakland. Then they saw C.J. Wilson last night. Today it's Santiago.
There's the 1-2 to Rajai. And he got him strike 3 in the outer edge.
Let's take one more look at those lines that Santiago draws on the pitcher's mound. You can kind of see them there. He kind of takes where the mound is, and down each side draws a line, and you can see where his landing spot is. He wants to land in the exact same spot every single time. That's his landing spot, but it helps him keep himself in line and squared up.
One gone now for Ian Kinsler. Santiago, 27 years of age, a native of New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey. As Kinsler looks at a strike.
He throws across his body, but he also hides the baseball very well, especially in the white uniforms that he's wearing here tonight. He's very tough to pick up.
You would think that somewhere, someone along the line would do the same thing that Santiago has done with those 2 lines, but I've never seen it.
Oh, it kind of keeps him in line. All you have to do is look down, and you can tell if you're doing what you need to do. When you get out of whack, you don't need the pitching coach to come out and tell you.
That is popped up right side of the infield. Giovantelli. 2 outs. Well, we mentioned it's a terrific night tonight. Here are the field conditions presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. About as good as you can get. It's 75 degrees here at the Big A. It is clear. Some wispy clouds in the air, but still a gorgeous, gorgeous evening.
The Tigers have had a couple of really nice weather days here in Southern California. Now all they need to do is score a few runs.
Well, here's Miguel Cabrera, who's batting .329 now, was 0 for 2 last night. Picked up an RBI when he was hit in the foot with the bases loaded. Tigers had tons of chances last night against C.J. Wilson, who walked 5 in his outing. But they just could not get the big hit. Santiago missing inside. 2 balls, no strikes on Miguel.
You will see Santiago do that a lot today against a lot of these right-handed hitters. Even though the fastball tops out at about 93, He is not afraid to go inside with his heater. He's going back in there again.
Swing and a miss.
And at 90 miles an hour, very seldom do you see Miguel swing through that kind of fastball, but that's the kind of deception that Santiago features.
Here's the 2-1. Deception sometimes can be more valuable than a mid-90s fastball.
Absolutely, and especially if you're able to locate it the way that Santiago has been able to locate his fastball this year.
Miggy has hit safely in 13 of his last 15. Here's the 2-2. That's going to get back out of play. For Cabrera, 33 RBIs. He's also been walked intentionally 9 times this year, which leads the American League. And he missed outside. Run the count full now, 3-2. Should Cabrera reach, Yoenis Cespedes is lurking on deck. These two teams in a 4-game series this weekend here from the Big A. 3-2 is ball 4. Man, was that close.
Santiago was off the mound. He was headed to his team's dugout. I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher walk that far toward their dugout after they thought the pitch should have been called a strike.
A quizzical look from Mike Scioscia as well.
But look how far he walks toward their dugout after the pitch.
A good call, though. Did miss inside. Hey, the Bernstein Advantage brings you the pitcher-batter matchup here with Cespedes facing Hector Santiago, and Yoenis has won a good portion of the battles, 4 for 11. That's a .364 average. Santiago missing outside.
And Santiago will start you off with a little 2-seam sinker away at about 88, only to get you out inside. He wants Cespedes to start thinking away, then he'll come back inside with either a good cutter, a good 4-seam fastball, or his slider.
Ball high, and Santiago now is falling behind 2-0. Santiago last year with the Angels was 6-5 with a .379 ERA. 24 starts, 30 appearances. He was acquired from the Chicago White Sox. Fouled back out of play, 2-1. Cespedes had a huge at bat last night. Came up with the bases loaded in the 3rd after Cabrera was hit by a pitch, but he struck out. Took a called 3rd from C.J. Wilson, the Tigers' best threat the entire night. There's a couple of guys that have accomplished a little bit in their playing days.
For the last decade or so, they have been the best right-handed hitters in the game. Pujols was that for about 5 years, and Miggy, and for the last 5 years, he's been the best hitter in the game.
Fouled away. 2-2 on Cespedes.
Every fastball that the Tigers have fouled off so far here today, they fouled off to the right side of the infield. An indication that it's very difficult to pick up Hector Santiago's fastball, even though it tops out at about 92, 93.
Swing and a miss. On front of the off-speed pitch, and that'll do it for the Tigers. Couple of strikeouts for Hector Santiago. Anibal Sanchez, who tonight is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
It is no secret the Tigers have had a very difficult time of winning in this ballpark. They've dropped 10 of their last 11 meetings, so it's up to Sanchez to really shut down the bats tonight of this Angels squad.
Well, the Angels will send Johnny Giavotella up there to start things off. Then Mike Trout.
Ibar, their leadoff hitter, tweaked his hamstring in last night's game, trying to beat out a bunt.
Giavotella watches it into the glove for strike one. Been a little bit of a surprise this year for the Angels. They got him from the Royals in the offseason, and Giavotella's had himself a pretty good start to this year. Had a double and a triple in last night's ball game. That's lifted in the air toward right field, and on the run, it's caught by J.D. Martinez. Here's the rest of the lineup for the Halos, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. You saw Giavotella leading things off. Trout will follow, then Pujols. Cole Calhoun is in right field. David Freese, Matt Joyce, Iannetta, Nieuwenhuis, and Featherston rounding it out. Trout in the ball game last night had a double and finished the ball game 1 for 4, batting .296. That's in there for a strike from Sanchez. Fastball. Anibal allowing 7 earned runs in each of his last 2 starts after having a really good outing against Minnesota. 0-2 on Trout.
If you're Sanchez, you probably want to climb the ladder now. 0-2 against Trout to see if he will chase the fastball upstairs.
High towering fly ball to right. It'll stay in the ballpark though, as JD is under it.
McCann wanted that fastball up a little higher than Sanchez was able to throw it, but the result a good one. Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense presented by Bill Fox Chevrolet. Cespedes, he got his 5th outfield assist of the season last night. Davis back in center field, JD in right. Perez gets a start over at third base today. Iglesias, Kinsler, Miggy round out the infield, and McCann is the catcher.
Cespedes, another assist in last night's ball game, threw out the guy at the plate. And that is Albert Pujols who fouls it back. Albert hit a home run early in the ball game last night. Came in the first inning off Buck Farmer. It was a 2-run shot.
Since Cespedes has come to the major leagues, he has 40 outfield assists, and the only outfielder with more assists, well, you know who he is. It's Alex Gordon of the Kansas City Royals.
Graphical proof. Gordon 44, Cespedes 40. The other guys on the list: Parra, Harper, Reddick. Low and away, 1-2 on Pujols.
And no coincidence that Alex Gordon has had a stranglehold on the Gold Glove the last number of years.
Home run last night for Albert was his 9th of the year. Here's the 1-2. There were times last night, Rod, where Buck Farmer looked really, really good. Had a stretch of 9 straight, retired, but he gave up a couple of early homers, and that set the tone.
I think Buck is going to be a good big league pitcher. You know, once he starts to mature with mid-90s fastball. He had a nice breaking ball, the power changeup. He made a couple of mistakes with that pitch last night. That's why the crooked number of the 7 in the run department.
Little pop-up foul back out of play. Pujols spoiling one back in the seats. Albert had some monster years with the St. Louis Cardinals. Seemingly over 100 RBIs every single season.
He has won 3 MVPs, and he would have more than that if Barry Bonds wasn't doing what he was doing when Albert first came to the big leagues. He was kind of like Trout. His first couple of years, he was finishing second to Barry Bonds.
2-2.
Of course, Trout was finishing second to Miggy before capturing one last year.
He'll get fouled down the left field line. A little bit of a better crowd here tonight. Bobblehead night here at the ballpark.
That'll get him in here.
Yep. Always does. Matt Shoemaker bobblehead. Trenton's own Matt Shoemaker. All decked out in the red as they normally are here in Anaheim. Sanchez ready with the 2-2 to Albert Pujols. Missed outside, full count. Here you go with St. Louis from 2001 to 11, and then his numbers with the Angels. Not nearly as prolific, but still very productive. He banged that one off his foot. Pitch at bat so far for Pujols. Not really a whole lot you can do when you bang it off your foot, but hope the feeling returns soon. Sanchez again ready with the 3-2 pitch. And it drilled towards short on a line. Jose Iglesias flags it down. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the second of the Big A. No score. Game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free small order of curly fries. Well, we'll see if the Tigers can indeed get those bats going. They had a 2-out walk in the first, but could not score. JD Martinez stands in, looks at a strike. 256 for JD, was 1 for 3, scored a run. The Tigers had 1 run for most of the night until they finally got on the board again in the 9th inning. 0-2 on Martinez. McCann and then Castellanos to follow. Swing and a miss, and JD is down.
Santiago comes in 3 wins, 3 losses, but he's got an earned run average that's under 2.5. Now, his team has not scored a lot of runs for him this year. Well, they really haven't scored a lot of runs for any of their starters. He took the loss 5 days ago in Boston against the Boston Red Sox. He gave up a home run to the former Angel, Mike Napoli. And really, that was all Boston needed.
Well, here you go. 1 or fewer earned runs in 6 of his 9 starts this year.
That's not right.
No.
We'll take that tonight, though.
Here's James McCann. It's fouled straight back out of play.
Mario, but I remember him when he was pitching for the White Sox. He had the same issue. He pitched very well against the Tigers, but he got very little run support from his White Sox teammates when he was wearing their uniform.
Yeah, he's got a lifetime 2.03 ERA versus Detroit.
but yet hasn't beaten them.
Meanwhile, 0-2 on McCann.
Nice breaking ball there thrown to McCann, who's been hot lately.
A couple of hits last night for James, 2 out of 4. 0-2 is way outside and high. McCann has been getting most of the reps with Alex Avila on the disabled list. Brian Holiday backing him up. And I would say he's been up to the task. Santiago with the 1-2. James had a really good year last year in the minor leagues. Came to spring camp as one of the favorites to, or the favorite probably, to get that backup position behind Avila. And has stepped in, done nicely, has really begun to gel with the Tigers pitching staff now from the catching end of it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A couple of former catchers managing in this one with Ausmus and Socha. So if you're catching for either one of these two teams, you know you've got lofty standards to live up to. Now Santiago steps out. No score as we play here in the second. Brad Ausmus caught for 18 seasons in the major leagues. Little chopper right back to the mound. McCann is out. And that'll bring up Nick Castellanos. Castellanos getting his first career start as a designated hitter. DHing tonight and giving up his third base spot to Hernan Perez. Nick punched out a couple of times last night, was 0 for 4. Swings and misses 0-1. Tigers come in tonight 7 over the 500 mark at 28-21. The Angels got to 500 with their victory last night in Game 1. High drive, right center field. Trout going back, track, wall to make the catch.
Trout plays an awfully deep center field and makes those plays on the warning track look routine.
1, 2, 3 innings, still no score. Together for the second game of this 4-game series. And Anibal Sanchez had a 1-2-3 first inning. Cole Calhoun leads it off for the Halos. Calhoun frees and Joyce. First one is in there for a strike on Calhoun. Scored a run, finished 1 for 3 in the ball game last night. And batting a solid .282.
Hitting .341 at home, only .220 on the road is Calhoun.
Calhoun has a little bit of pop in his bat, and Mike Socha has inserted him into the cleanup slot for good now, backing up Albert Pujols. One of the reasons is his splits have been pretty good, both against righties and lefties. They're pretty even, and he has a little bit of pop. Slow roller hit towards second base. Kinsler on a bare hand throws him out.
Ian Kinsler going through it a little bit as far as the bat is concerned. He's only 3 for his last 34 at bats, but he brings that glove every single night, and you just love the way that Ian plays the game. He plays the game the right way.
Here are some of the numbers on Kinsler. 2 errors this year. He played Gold Glove caliber second base last year in his first season with the Tigers.
Yeah, he did.
Sanchez works in a strike to David Freese. 2 for 4 in last night's game, and also scored a couple of runs. Strike in the outer edge, 0-2.
Angels offense woke up last night against Tigers pitching, and not only Farmer but the bullpen too. They scored 12 runs, and they had only scored 12 runs in their previous 5 games.
One and 2 on the third baseman David Freese. Angels in search of their first base runner tonight. Low and away. Even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Freese not hitting much for average, but the power has come back. The power that they thought that they were trading for when they got him from the St. Louis Cardinals. Already 8 big flies this year for Freese. And he looks much better swinging the bat. Looks like he's got some bat speed this year. He didn't look all that good against Tigers pitching last year, but he's taking some good whacks at the baseball these days.
Well, he used the offseason to improve his workout regimen. Came into camp this year in, as they say, much better shape.
That explains it.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes, and McCann will complete the strikeout. There are 2 gone, and let's check in with John Keating now, who has more on a pregame competition.
Yeah, the only person in the ballpark not surprised by what happened pregame was Mario Impemba, who, as we understand it, spent some time here as a teenage broadcasting phenom a long time ago. It's dairy night here at Anaheim. They have an annual cow milking competition with 1 member of the opposing team and 1 member of the home team. It was reliever Alex Wilson for the Tigers, wearing boots and a cowboy hat and a big belt buckle, and all of his teammates were there underneath the cow to get that picture that you wanted. And unfortunately, Wilson lost out the cow milking competition to the Angels' Alfredo Marte.
Yeah, but he looked better, Keats.
He did.
I mean, he had the hat and the
he
belt
certainly
buckle.
looked the part and had history of having done it, and explained some of the intricacies that I will not go into here now about the right way to milk a cow.
John, I also understand that visiting players never won that thing.
That's not true.
Is that right? Who won it?
Well, Tom Brookins, there's a trophy, and one of the names that popped out was Tom Brookins, who won it way back in 1984. Your 1984 team, Rod.
Well, it was a good year.
When the Tigers were here and playing the Angels way back when.
How about that?
All right, Keats, thanks. Matt Joyce standing in. Well, what I want to know, Rod, is how come you, I mean, if it was an 84, why didn't you say you'll do it?
You know what? I'm glad they weren't making the rookies do it then.
Tom Brookins, how about that?
Because they sure would have made me do it.
There's a high fly ball to center field. Straight away, Rajai Davis is under it, and Sanchez will have himself another 1-2-3 inning. Here are the names on the trophy. And this goes back a long way, all the way back to 1977. Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire. Here in Anaheim, we remind you to stay tuned for Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll select our Tigers player of the game, presented by the 2 for $5 mixer match filet fish and 10-piece McNuggets. Here's a ball bunted toward first base. Pujols is going to make the tag for the out.
Shortstop, number 1.
Well, here is Iglesias now with 1 out.
It's a good idea there by Hernan Perez, but he didn't get the ball towards second base as much as he needed to. He allowed Albert to come and get it, and Albert was able to complete the play himself.
Jose looks at a strike on the outer edge.
It's no secret what you're going to get from Santiago. I was down in the Tigers clubhouse watching some video on him, and 70% of the pitches he throws are fastballs. He does have a curveball, he does have a changeup, but the overwhelming majority of his success has been with his fastball and his ability to locate the fastball and not being afraid to pitch inside.
Little number off the end of the bat. Iglesias motoring down the line, but Giavitello throws him out. A couple of ground ball outs. We've had only 1 base runner so far in this game, and that was a walk to Miguel Cabrera. And Santiago now will face Rajai Davis. He trying to stretch out a little bit. Davis, a strikeout victim, start the game.
Rajai also struck out to end the game last night.
It'll get back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Davis now will have to track down his bat. Rajai, 3rd in the American League with 3 triples. I think coming into the season he anticipated more playing time than he has gotten, but the start that Anthony Gose has gotten off to has cut into his time. Checked it. They will appeal. He did not go. Phil Cuzzy down at first base said so. In the air, shallow right field. Giavitello is on the run. It'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Hector Santiago. We go to the bottom of the 3rd in Anaheim.
Iannetta, their catcher, had a big night. doubled early in the game, and then a grand slam, his fourth of his career, first as an Angel. And that one pretty much put the game out of reach.
Certainly was an exclamation point. Now Iannetta will start things off here in the bottom of the third. No score. No balls, one strike on Iannetta. Nieuwenhuis and then Featherston, the bottom three. 6 up, 6 down so far for Sanchez.
Yeah, so far Sanchez looks outstanding. He's thrown 28 pitches. 20 of those have been well located strikes. Fastball's got some life on it, 92 to 93. He can get higher than that if he wants to. You know, we talk about Ghost and Iglesias being two of the biggest surprises on the offensive end for the Tigers. I'd have to say that Anibal Sanchez is probably, for me, the biggest surprise as far as on the pitching staff, at his inability to really get it done on a consistent basis as he has done throughout his big league career.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. You know, you come to expect certain things from guys that have been around a while. Sanchez certainly is one of those guys, but just has not been able to find any consistency.
I've said this on many occasions, and I'm not the only one that says this. I mean, when Sanchez is on the mound and he's got his 4 pitches working for him and his skill set, there are very few right-handers that can match his talent. But he's given up some crooked numbers.
Thought he had strike 3 there. It was awfully close. Full count now, 3-2 on Iannetta. Swing and a miss, and he takes care of him with one more pitch. That'll be the second strikeout for Sanchez. There's Kirk Nieuwenhuis. 7 straight set down to start this game for Anibal.
Angels just acquired Nieuwenhuis a couple of days ago from the New York Mets. He wasn't hitting a whole lot with the Mets. You see the batting average there, just a couple of RBIs. But he was playing very well defensively.
Yeah, that's an understatement. He was 3 for 38 with the Mets. And beyond that, he was used a lot as a pinch hitter, but was 0 for 13. The 0-1 is a strike, 0-2. Sanchez working with a good rhythm here early on in this game, and a swing and a foul tip, just got a piece of it.
Buck Farmer threw a changeup last night about 86, 87 miles an hour. Sanchez also has a power changeup, calls it a butterfly changeup, and he throws his very hard as well.
Again, the 0-2. Driven toward left center field. Rajay on the run. Still going back. Not going to get it. Up against the wall. Nieuwenhuis will go to second and stop there. And that is the first hit for the Angels tonight. A 1-out double.
Also the first hit for Nieuwenhuis as an Angel. This ball slicing away from Rajay Davis in center field. Natural slice off the left-handed bat. And even Rajay, with all the speed that he possesses, not able to run it down. Angels had a ton of extra base hits in last night's game, and they're off to it again.
1 on, 1 out. Taylor Featherston will step in. Getting the start at short. Ibar was hurt in the ball game last night, tweaking a hamstring. Bouncing ball left side deep in the hole. Iglesias, a 2-hop throw. He got him.
He's going to win a Gold Glove this year. That boy is off the chain.
What a play by Jose Iglesias to the outfield grass.
That's just crazy, man. That is just absolutely crazy. Ranging far to his right, and then he doesn't even look at McGee. Just flips the ball back across and bounces it over and is able to get the hitter. It's ridiculous, really, how good this guy is at shortstop.
And he got it by a full step. I mean, that arm strength, that balance, that quick release.
Those are the kind of plays where the opposing dugout, their jaws have dropped to see a guy make a play like that at shortstop. You don't see it every day.
Here's Giavotella. Flat out to right field in the first inning, 0 for 1. .269 batting average. I'm not sure there's a spot on the field where you can hit a ball that Iglesias can't get to. To his left, to his right, coming in. Slapped down the right field line, slicing, foul. Just foul. Angels almost had the first run of the game. New and Heise, a 1-out double, still standing there with 2 outs. Giavotella came in with a 5-game hitting streak and 7 for his previous 14 at bats. It's been a spark plug of sorts, filling in at second base after the trade of Howie Kendrick to the Dodgers. Laid off that pitch outside, 1-2. Kendrick spent 9 years here as the second baseman for the Angels, so Giavotella coming in and replacing a guy that's been here a long time. And as Mike Scioscia says, he brings a lot of energy to their ball club. Parts of 4 years with the Royals, now in Anaheim. 1-2. Checked it. Didn't look like he went, and he did not, said Phil Cuzzi. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now Sanchez ready with the 2-2. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Giavotella is gone, and so are the Angels. No runs, a double, 1 man left. The Angels don't score because of Jose Iglesias. Sparkling defensive play at short. All right, Trev, thanks. So the Royals get back on track a little bit. They had been struggling.
Yeah, they dropped 4 in a row before getting that win here today against the Cubbies.
Ian Kinsler is starting things off for the Tigers. We're in the 4th inning here at the Big A. No score. It'll be Kinsler, Cabrera, Cespedes against the left-hander Hector Santiago. That'll dart inside. 2-1. Tigers came into play a game and a half behind both KC and Minnesota, still tied for first in the Central entering play today. 2-2 on Kinsler. Ian came in 3 for 10 career against Santiago. Thought about going after that pitch, but did not. 3-2. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Popped him up. Shallow right field. Cole Calhoun will come in to make the play. One gone. Let's check back in with John Keating. Keats.
Well, Mario, Miguel Cabrera and Mike Trout live in rarefied air, and they look down upon the rest of us mere mortals. It was fascinating today to talk to each of them about each other. They lit right up. Big smiles from Cabrera about Trout. Big smiles from Trout about Cabrera. Said Miguel about Trout, oh, he can do everything. I wish I could do some of the things that he can do. I think what Miguel does, he does just fine. But Trout certainly an up-and-coming star. Between the two of them, they've won the last 3 Most Valuable Player awards.
And Cabrera sends a slow roller to the shortstop for the second out. Well, we had a great shot, Rod, of the two, Trout and Cabrera, embracing each other before the game, saying good luck to each other. There is definitely a mutual respect there.
When you're as good as they are, you have to respect one another. And Miguel also went on to say that he had a ball into right center field last night that Mike Trout made look routine. And Mickey said most center fielders don't make that play look as routine as he made that play look last night.
They both are awfully good, and they both have taken care of the MVP the last 3 years. Miguel's won 2 of them, and Trout won it last year. Here is Cespedes, and Yoenis looks at ball 1.
And no doubt both guys will be in Cincinnati once again this year, representing the American League at the All-Star game as starters.
Strike called on Cespedes. 1-1. The Tigers are still looking for their first hit. They had a walk to Cabrera in the first. That's it. Santiago now is retired. 9 straight. Yoenis a strikeout to end the first. On the outer edge, a strike called. 1-2.
Good cut fastball there thrown by Santiago. He started it off the plate and had a little cutting action on it, and it was able to catch the outside corner, at least by Will Little's opinion.
Fouled away.
Cespedes is a dead pull hitter, therefore Santiago really hasn't pitched him inside that aggressively, but he has gone in there. He'll keep Cespedes honest, but he really wants to get him out of the way. Or if he continues to go away, he will throw something inside, hoping to freeze Cespedes with a fastball. He got away with one there.
He took a healthy cut at it.
Yeah, he got away with that fastball.
Here are the numbers. A total of 50 now for Santiago. Only needed 8 in the third.
His strikes to balls ratio not as good as Anibal Sanchez's is tonight.
Santiago last year was much better in the second half for the Angels after a trip to the minor leagues. He was 1-7 in the first half last year. Had a dreadful start to the year, but then really put it together in the second half. ERA sub-3. High pop up. Shallow center field. Trout comes cruising in. And Santiago has got to give up a hit. He's retired 10 straight.
Friend of mine, and I was asking him about Mike Trout, and Don played a lot of years in the big leagues, and I simply asked him, is Mike Trout the best player you've ever seen, or can you remember anybody being as talented as Trout? And he never answered that question, which leads me to believe that he's really never seen a player with the skill set that Trout has. But he did go on to say back in 2010, when the Futures game was right here in this particular ballpark, Trout was on that team. But Trout was only 18 years old at the time, and he didn't start Trout in the game. But after watching him take batting practice and watching him run around the field, he said, I think I made a mistake. I should have started this kid in the game. He talked about guys like Moustakas. He talked about guys like Eric Hosmer. He talked about Dominic Brown, who was a big-time prospect at the time. Those guys all got starts in the game. Trout didn't get a start. He got in the game very early, went on to have a nice day, but it just gives you an idea of how talented Trout is when Don Baylor, who also won an MVP in an Angels uniform, couldn't really give me a concrete answer as to anybody else that he's seen play the game the way that Trout does.
MVPs in Angels history: Baylor, Vladimir Guerrero, and Mike Trout last year. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and it's inside 3-1. Now, the other question about Trout is, how could he have fallen so far in the draft? He was 25th overall in the first round back in '09, and maybe some of that has to do with the fact that he was from a northern climate, from New Jersey.
I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it. The fact that he played in New Jersey, they don't play a lot of games up there anyway because they can't. So I'm sure he probably had to go to some kind of a showcase to really get noticed.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Showcase for 2 or 3. And that's driven right field, and a nice piece of hitting there as he slams one for a leadoff single here in the 4th.
He grounded out in his first 3 at-bats in last night's game. Then he got himself a 92-mile-per-hour fastball and shot it over the head of J.D. Martinez. And this is the idea of the bat quickness that Trout has. Inside-out swing, whistled the opposite way. He beats the shift.
Leadoff man on, only the second hit allowed by Anibal Sanchez.
Is Trout running more this year than he ran last year? No, he didn't run a whole lot last year, but he was trotting around the bases quite often.
Got 8 steals this year, 8 for 10.
Yeah, he's running a lot more this year than he did last year then.
Pujols line to the shortstop his last time up.
And Albert always a double play candidate in this particular situation.
.529 home runs in the career of Albert Pujols.
Sanchez does struggle with keeping runners close at first base. And Mike Scioscia, the manager of the Angels, has been one of your more aggressive managers in the game since he's been a skipper, and it's been a long time.
Runner goes. McCann's throw. High tag. Got him. Trout is called out. McCann showing off that gun behind the plate.
Sanchez also gave him time to throw. Didn't appear that Trout got a great jump. And he went in sliding head first, and Kinzer able to apply the tag to the left hand before Trout got it on the bag.
Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 1 strike. Only the 3rd time this year that Trout has been thrown out, and there you see the numbers on McCann. 8 caught stealings. 44% awfully solid. Bouncing ball to 3rd, foul.
That 44% has to be right up there in the top 2 or 3 in the American League.
Two and 2 on Pujols. Cole Calhoun waiting on deck. Drill to left field. That's going to get down. Fair ball. Go to the corner. Albert may have to hold with a single. He will. Ball got to the wall in a hurry, and he just doesn't run all that well.
That's a changeup that stays up, and Albert simply turned on it. It's the same pitch that he hit into the seats yesterday against Buck Farmer in the very first inning. And Cespedes really hustled after that ball down in the left field corner to prevent Pujols from getting a double. Changeup's not good pitches these days to throw to Pujols. You might want to crowd him with some more fastballs.
There's Calhoun. This is the third hit now in the last 2 innings for the Angels. Calhoun bounced out his first time up. Slices this one towards Cespedes on the charge, plays it on 1 hop. 3 straight singles for the Angels here in the 4th. But the caught stealing looms large now. 2 on 1 out.
Here's where being the third base coach becomes a difficult position. And with Pujols on second base and J.D. Martinez in right field having a good arm, Cespedes, you know about his arm, in left field, Gary DiSarcina really has to make sure Albert can score on a base hit. Doesn't run very well these days, and it's a challenging job right now when you've got a guy like Pujols at second.
He is at second and Calhoun is at first. A little bit outside to David Freese. Strikeout victim back in the second. Feel a little bit the other way on Freese. Big hack there.
Here's what I'm talking about regarding DiSarcina. This happened in last night's game. Game was out of reach, but he sent him home on the arm of Yoenis Cespedes, and Albert Pujols simply stopped, and then he got himself into a rundown and was eventually tagged out by Castellanos.
DiSarcina, former shortstop in his playing days with the Angels.
And a good one.
Really good shortstop, all-star shortstop.
Wasn't all that flashy, but he made all the plays.
You could make an argument back in '95 when DiSarcina went down with an injury. The Angels were cruising. They were 12 games up in August. DiSarcina went down, and all of a sudden they lost first place. Kind of the glue, one of those glue guys that they talk about. 2 balls, 1 strike on David Freese. Angels trying to score first in this game. We're in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. 2-2. David Freese coming over from the St. Louis Cardinals. Peter Borges and Grichuk involved in that deal. We saw both of those players in St. Louis on one of the recent road trips. Sanchez's rhythm has slowed definitely here in the 4th inning with the 3 base runners. And he just got a piece. Well, the Angels, with their big night last night, they came into the series dead last in hitting, but they have leapfrogged a couple of teams. Seattle and Houston now below them in terms of team average. Actually, Seattle is tied with the Angels, but no longer in last place.
Everybody thought Seattle was going to be a whole lot better this year with Nelson Cruz. Obviously, they have an MVP candidate named Robinson Cano. Kyle Seager.
Full count on Freese. Here are the standings out west. Angels came in 6 back of Houston. And he lost it. Ball 4. That's going to load the bases. Fans, you can catch 4 games at Comerica Park for as low as $73 with the new Detroit Tigers 4-packs. Choose 4 bobblehead giveaways, 4 fireworks nights, or 4 weekday matinee games. Call 313 471-2255, or if you'd like, go online, tigers.com. Well, danger time now. Early on in this game for the Tigers, they are loaded up for the Angels.
For the former Tiger, Matt Joyce, who played long ball in last night's game, and I mean, he hit a ball to right field that was hit a ton. Joyce has always been a good fastball hitter.
He's homered now in back-to-back games, hitting .250 this year with men in scoring position.
Said he absolutely loves it out in Southern California after spending a little bit of time in Detroit, but the majority of his big league career spent down in Florida, playing for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Swing and a miss.
He said he is so happy to get off that artificial surface in Tampa. Legs feel a lot better, a lot more life in the legs when you play on this natural grass, Joyce told me before the game.
I've never talked to a player that said they've enjoyed playing on the artificial surface.
A lot of guys have benefited from it, though, especially your speed guys hit the ball on the ground.
Swing and a miss again, 0-2.
That's a hard changeup at 89 miles an hour thrown by Sanchez to get ahead of Matt Joyce. Power changeup.
Ground ball right side. Kinsler bobbles. Everybody is safe in what appeared to be the starting of a double play. It'll go as an error.
Crucial error by Kinsler, who's only made 3 this year.
What a huge play. 1-0 Angels.
Looked like he just got a little bit too quick with the feet and the hands, trying to get the ball to Iglesias and just mishandled it.
Pujols scores on the play. Now here is Iannetta, who hit a grand slam last night.
Well, if you're Sanchez, you simply have to bail Kinsler out here, and you can't give up any more. Lord knows he's bailed the pitching staff out quite a bit in the last 2 years.
A little bit outside, 1-0 on Iannetta. Bases remain loaded. A run in on the air by Kinsler. Checked it low. They want the appeal. Didn't go. So now it's 2-0 on Iannetta.
And the Tigers desperately need Sanchez to stay out there for a while here tonight. The Tigers bullpen the last couple of days, one in Oakland, and here last night have pitched 9 innings. So as good as that bullpen has been, Mario, I mean, if you start to dip into it the way they have the last couple of days, all of a sudden they don't do as well. They don't stay as fresh.
Right now, the Tigers also said that Kyle Ryan is scheduled to make Simon's next start if Alfredo can't make it back off the bereavement list. Here's the 2-1. Well, now it's 3-1 on Iannetta. Waiting on deck, Kirk Neuenhuis. Sanchez with the 3-1. Strike called on the inside part of the plate. 3-2. 70 now for Sanchez. Well, he was cruising along. He had retired 7 straight to start the game. Here in the 4th, he's given up 3 hits, a walk, and he's been the victim of an error. Ground ball to short. This should be 2, 6, 4, 3, and a double play ends the inning. So minimal damage done on the air by Kinsler. Sanchez able to pitch out of it. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Nighttime settling in here at the Big A in Anaheim. The Angels on top of the Tigers 1-0 as we go to the 5th inning, but it could have been a whole lot worse had it not been for a double play ball that Sanchez got. JD Martinez leads it off against lefty Hector Santiago. And JD looks at strike one. 10 straight retired by Santiago as we start the 5th. Tigers do not have a hit in this game. They have one walk. 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch, way high. Try to get Martinez to chase there, but that was way out of the zone. Here's the 1-2. Wafted to center field, base hit. First hit of the game for the Tigers. That belongs to JD Martinez. It'll bring up James McCann, which brings us to our T-Mobile game changer. We're talking about McCann and what he has done offensively among catchers since the end of April 24th to be exact, a .333 average. Along with Francisco Cervelli. McCann bounced out to the mound his first time up. Tigers finally get their first hit.
That was a changeup that was off the plate by about 6 inches that JD Martinez was able to reach out and hit right back up the middle. And we have already seen James McCann this year bunt for a couple of singles down toward third base, attempting to do it again.
One sack bunt, 2 bunt hits. Not bad for a catcher.
Tigers have a couple of catchers that can really handle the bunt as far as bunts are concerned. Holiday not bad either.
0-2.
But really, when you start talking about your catchers, you want them guys to kind of find some gaps and hit it out of the ballpark.
No doubt. Especially a guy this size, McCann. He's a big customer.
Yeah, he's what they look like.
Swing and a miss. Santiago carved him up and one gone. Fans, don't forget to enter now for a chance to win a trip to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game on Fox for you and 3 of your friends. Upload 2 baseball-themed photos of yourself to foxsports.com/Fantastic All-Star now through June the 3rd. There's Castellanos. Nick, the designated hitter tonight. He flied to center field, 0 for 1. Hold for 5 in the series for Castellanos.
11 of 16 is Santiago in first pitch strikes so far here tonight, so he's having no problem getting ahead of Tigers hitters. And then ever so slightly expanding the strike zone with changeups down and away, well located cutters and 4-seam fastballs inside. With 2 strikes, he'll elevate the heater as well.
Numbers on Santiago, 16 with 41 of those strikes. Here's the 1-1. Santiago also likes pitching in this ballpark at home this year. He has an ERA of 1.86 in 5 home starts. You mentioned he pitched a lot better last year in the second half, and here are some numbers, some home numbers.
He should be he should have a whole lot more wins this year, but they just haven't given him a lot of run support here at home.
Runner goes. Here comes the throw down to second, and the swipe tag not in time.
That's a good call there by Brad Ausmus.
No doubt.
Because there's no doubt that Santiago had forgotten all about J.D. Martinez at first base, because that's not part of J.D.'s game. He does not steal bases. So he gave him the steal sign. He got a good jump, and that allowed him to beat the tag.
The Tigers' offense has been so stagnant for the most part this entire trip.
Yeah, Mike Scioscia was waiting to see whether the tag was applied by Giovatello, the second baseman, but it looked like he missed when he swiped at J.D.
So the tying run now is out at second base. Castellanos waiting on a 2-2 offering.
Second steal of the year for J.D.
Ground ball second base, and right there is Giovatello. That'll advance the runner, but there are 2 outs.
One more look at the swipe tag by Giovatello, the second baseman. It looked like he just kind of whiffed when trying to reach back across to apply the tag to J.D.
Otherwise, he would have been out, it appeared. It'll bring up Hernan Perez.
Got to get the slide mats out for J.D.
Little slide practice.
Yes.
Perez 0 for 1. Strokes it in the air to shallow center field. Trout on the run, makes the catch.
Oh my goodness, he can go back, he can come in, he can go east and west as well.
Mike Trout, a nice running play. Still 1-0 Angels.
Trout in center field, who plays deep, but comes in very well. Able to get over to that ball without even leaving his feet.
So the Tigers made a bid to tie this game on a bloop single by Perez, but it was cut off by Trout. Took a hit away from him. And now here is Nieuwenhuis as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Nieuwenhuis, Featherston, and then Giovatello facing Anibal Sanchez. Here's the 0-1. Nieuwenhuis had a double in his first at bat, but did not score. Swing and a miss, and Nieuwenhuis is out of there, 1 gone.
Let's take a look at the big boy, big play of the game. And if you missed it, it was another spectacular play by your shortstop, Jose Iglesias, ranging far to the right, throwing off balance, off the right foot, bouncing it over a couple of times to the big fella, but still able to get Featherston, who was making a bid for a base hit.
You know what's crazy is a play like that just looks rather pedestrian with the ones that he's turned in. I mean, that one just kind of is average.
He's amazing. No, that's not average.
Well, he makes it look average.
He makes it look average. But
compared to some of the stuff he has done, I mean, that looked like ho-hum. Just go back to the grass. Make a great play. Here's a strike called on a check swing, but he went around. Sanchez had a 28-pitch fourth inning. Looking for a much calmer fifth. Not a good swing there by Featherston, and he'll tote his bat back to the bench. 5 strikeouts for Sanchez. Here's Johnny Giavotella. 0 for 2 for Giavotella. Strikeout, flyout. Giavotella this year has had 6 game-winning RBIs for the Angels. That's a team lead, so that's how much spark he's provided their offense. Been elevated to the leadoff slot with Ibar out of the lineup tonight. Giavotella was hitting 9th last night, but he's been all over the lineup. The 28-pitch fourth we talked about, and that has helped push his pitch count to 80 now, only in the 5th inning. 3-1 on Giavotella. Should he reach, that would bring Trout up. He's waiting on deck. Angels got a run in the 4th inning on an error by Kinsler. Way inside, and that will bring Trout to the plate. 2-out walk for Giavotella. Second walk of the game for Sanchez. Trout singled, was caught stealing in his last at bat. Ball 1. Even Brad Ausmus was talking about Trout yesterday. He was asked when he first saw Trout play, and Brad said, when I was an assistant in the San Diego front office, I saw him play in an Arizona Fall League game, and all Trout did on that day was hit a couple of triples. He finished with 4 hits. But the one thing that stood out to Brad was his speed out of the box on those triples, and that speed is just one part of his game. You saw him use it out in center field.
I don't remember when it was. It might have been last year. It might have been the year before. But he hit a ball to the shortstop, and he was already taking 1 step down the line because it was a breaking ball that was away from him. And I think we might have had him at like a 3-4 or something like that going down the line.
Ooh, McCann apparently crossed up there.
I mean, the average speed for a right-handed hitter down the first line is about 4 seconds. And I don't remember the exact time, but it was a time that you don't hear very often.
2 balls, no strikes on Trout. Two-out walk to Giavotella.
That's the pitch that the hitting coach Don Baylor has encouraged Trout to lay off of. It's the fastball, belt buckler higher. It's a pitch he struggles with. Therefore, he's done a better job this year of laying off of it, not necessarily swinging at it. He absolutely loves the ball down, whether it be a fastball or a breaking ball.
Trout had a double in last night's game, a single in tonight's game. Swing and a miss, and Sanchez gets him on strikes. 6 strikeouts for Anibal, 5 in the books here at the Big A. And party suites are on sale now. Groups of 15 or more get discounted tickets to select games. Call 313-471-BALL or visit tigers.com. Look at that food. That's some good looking grub. Party suites, bring your group out. Here's Iglesias. Time to get the Tigers offense going, wouldn't you say? It'll be Iglesias, Davis, Kinsler facing the lefty Hector Santiago, who to this point has surrendered just 1 hit, the J.D. Martinez single in the 5th. One ball, 1 strike on Iglesias. 1 run on 4 hits for the Angels. No runs, 1 hit for the Tigers. Iglesias looks at a ball high. 2-1. That's on the outer edge. Santiago at one point had retired 10 consecutive Tigers before the J.D. single in the 5th. Two and two, the count stays on Jose. And again, the 2-2 pitch. It is strike 3 called. Iglesias caught looking, 1 gone. That'll bring up Rajai Davis, and we're talking about getting the bats going. Here's some further proof. Through 49 games of a season in Tigers history, 2 or fewer runs. Tigers this year have done it 23 times.
It really doesn't equate because we put up a graphic last night. It indicated that the Tigers have a lot of guys that have already had 40 hits this year, a lot of guys that have already driven in 20+ runs, but yet it's not equating into a lot of victories.
No, it's kind of strange, actually.
They have a heavily dominant right-handed lineup, but yet the last three left-handers, Kazmir, C.J. Wilson, and tonight, so far Santiago, they have been able to do very little offensively. I mean, you can see it. They had quite a few lefties
right
in their lineup, like Cleveland, for instance.
2-1 on Davis. Well, you total it all up, and Brad Ausmus and the Tigers in the Central Division right now trailing KC, who's already won. They're down by 2 games now.
And Brad has an all right-handed lineup in this game tonight.
3-1. Rajay looks at the ball. It's outside. Tigers get another base runner. 1 out walk, second of the ball game for Santiago. 75 now for the Angels lefty, 49 of which have been strikes.
It looks like their pitching coach is back, Mike Butcher. He was in Arizona the last couple of days attending a graduation.
It's that time of the year. You'll see a lot of times managers or pitching coaches or members of the coaching staff.
You cannot miss the high school graduations, the college graduations, as demanding as our jobs are. And they count on not only the broadcasters to be there every single night, but the pitching coach and the managers. You cannot miss your graduations.
Here is Kinsler now with the tying run on.
I think that's the only time you ever took a day off. Graduation.
Yeah, scheduled at least.
Yeah.
Different times when we've all gotten sick, but that's it for me. Well, Davis down there at first base, 11 steals. Tigers got a stolen base back in the 5th when JD swiped the bag.
And usually when Rajay's on, Kinsler gets good fastballs to hit.
Snap throw, he had him spinning his wheels a little bit, but not enough on that throw. Runner goes. Throw down to second is not in time. Safe for stolen base. Second of the night for the Tigers. Number 12 for Rajay.
Santiago made his mistake by showing Rajay every last one of his pickoff moves. And so Rajay says, I've already seen everything that you have. So he got a great jump and able to get that left hand in there ahead of the tag of Giovitella. 12th steal of the season for Rajay, and he's a threat to steal third as well.
So once again, the Tigers get that tying run out there at second base. Altuve has 15, Ellsbury 14, and then Davis atop the leaderboards, the American League.
And a lot of times after Rajay steals second, he goes on that very next pitch to third.
High throw on the pickoff attempt. Tigers still have only 1 hit in this game. The single by J.D. Martinez. They've had a couple of walks, so not many scoring opportunities.
Rajay Davis has stolen third base 90 of 99 attempts in his major league career.
There he goes. Here comes the throw to third. The tag got him.
And now he's been caught 10 times.
Boy, that throw was on the money for Iannetta. A bullet to third.
What helped set that up was the previous pickoff play to second base. So they kept him close. Rajay went from a standstill position. The throw was right on the bag by Iannetta. And now Rajay is 90 of 100 in his major league career in steals of third and 5 of 6 this season. Can't make a better throw than that.
Nope.
That's why we always talk about when you're on second base, and Rajay knows this because he's a great base stealer. he went from a standstill jump. He really had no secondary lead going toward third base, and this could have been the difference. He just goes from a standstill position like he's stealing second base, and you've got to get a little momentum going toward that next bag.
Popped him up. Right center field. Trout coming over, and he'll make the catch. Just like that, the inning is over. In the sixth, no runs, a walk, nobody left. Iannetta with a good throw to third.
Fast delivery of the game. Anibal Sanchez has only given up 4 hits here today. He's only given up 1 run. He's had every last one of his pitches working for him. The fastball firm in the mid-90s. Great breaking ball. Outstanding changeup. But his offense really hasn't been able to get him any runs. He's pitching with very little margin for error here tonight.
Angels have a run on 4 hits, no runs on 1 Tiger hit tonight as Anibal goes back to work here in the 6th. It'll be Pujols to lead it off for the Angels. And Albert looks at a ball outside. 2-0 the count on Pujols.
6 strikeouts so far tonight turned in by Sanchez, and none of those coming on his 4-seam fastball. Either his cutter or his changeup has been the pitch he's been able to get them to swing and miss at.
Calhoun and then Freese to follow. These are 3, 4, and 5 in Mike Scioscia's lineup tonight.
45% of the 89 pitches Sanchez has thrown have been fastballs. So he's been heavy on the off-speed stuff here this evening.
3-1. Albert 529 homers, but he also has 568 doubles in his career. You look at a strike, thought he had a walk. He was headed to first base, and now he shakes his head.
I was reading the notes on Albert before the game today, and it seems like with every double he hits now, every stolen base he gets from here on out, of course home runs, he's passing somebody that's either in the Hall of Fame or somebody that's going to the Hall of Fame.
Well, he's headed there himself. He has just launched one to left field. Cespedes going back, and on consecutive nights, Albert Pujols is homered.
I don't know why they continue to throw out with those changeups.
Nothing Angels.
He hit a changeup last night from Buck Farmer for a 2-run home run. Changeup for a single already here tonight by Sanchez, and he throws him another changeup here that he leaves the building on. So
he's going to bring up Cole Calhoun. 530 home runs now for Pujols. 2-0 Angels lead. Calhoun fouls it back out of play. There's the list. Jimmy Fox is about 4 away right now. He's 17th in Major League history. Fox is. Foul straight back. Calhoun had a single in the 4th. He's batting .285. Sanchez with the 0-2. Calhoun, a couple of hits in the series, scored a run last night. Here's the 1-2. He went around, got a piece of it. Angels got a run in the 4th on a fielding error by Ian Kinsler, and now the home run by Pujols to lead off the 6th inning. Albert's 10th of the year. Ooh, that was close. 2-2 the count. So Sanchez now is approaching 100. He's had 97 pitches. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball second base side for Kinsler. Calhoun is out, 1 away.
Let's take a look at Anibal Sanchez and compare some numbers the last 2 years. He's already given up 12 homers this year, only 4 last year, but the ERA is way up. It's just one of those years where he'll be cruising along and really not pitching that poorly here this evening, but you know, when your team's not scoring any runs, you got to continue to put up goose eggs.
It seems like every start Sanchez has, he's got at least one of those runs in him in which he retires 8 or 9 straight. He had one of those to start the game tonight, retired 7 in a row. Freeze pounds it back out of play, 1 ball, 1 strike. So that's 100 now for Hannibal. In his last start, he threw 115 pitches. And when you go back to last year, he had only reached that mark only once all of last season. 2-1.
Hannibal had a couple of stints on the disabled list last year.
Yeah, which forced the Tigers to use him out of the bullpen in the postseason.
And also use him very carefully.
Here's the 2-1. Pulled to third, right by Perez, down the left field line. Freeze on his way to second. And he's got himself a double.
David Freese has been very aggressive in the series against Tigers pitching. He has swung early and he's swung hard. And you can see he gets out in front of the 88-mile-per-hour off-speed pitch and able to hook it right down the third baseline in an area where Hernan Perez couldn't get to it.
That'll bring Jet Jones out. A couple of extra base hits here in the 6th inning. Angel Nesbitt beginning to heat up in the Detroit bullpen.
Well, you wonder if they will put Joyce on here with the base open and go after the right-hander Iannetta, who is in the on-deck circle.
So here is Joyce, who hit that ground ball that was misplayed by Kinsler, allowing a run to score back in the 4th. Home run for Joyce last night, which leaves him 9 shy of 100 for his career. He popped him up. Shallow center field. It's Iglesias running back there to make the play. 2 gone, game break time. Here's Trevor Thompson. All right, Trev, thanks. Here it is 2-0 now. The Angels have the lead. They've got a runner at second with 2 outs. Iannetta, the batter. Knocked into a double play, and it turned out to be a huge one because the Angels had a run in. They had the bases loaded, 1 out, and then the 6-4-3 got Sanchez out of big time trouble. That was in the 4th inning. Ball high. Sanchez now at 105. Trying to strand that runner at second base. Freeze. Here's the 1-1.
Here's our high-speed pitch, and it is brought to you by Xfinity. Top fastball tonight for Sanchez, up to 95 miles an hour.
Iannetta waits on the 1-2. Here it is. Got him. Strike 3. Inning is over. However, the Angels get another run, and they do it on one swing of the bat by Albert Pujols. 530th one-time homer, and it's 2-0 LA.
Pujols, and here's how they stack up career-wise. Both batting averages is well over 300. Lots of home runs, decorated with all kinds of awards, MVP, All-Stars, and of course Miguel Cabrera He won a triple crown just a couple of seasons ago.
Well, he leads it off here in the 7th inning. Tigers have been limited to just one hit tonight. And it's a single, a base hit by Martinez in the 5th. Miggy, Cespedes, and then J.D. Martinez. And Santiago missing outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Walking a ground out for Miguel. Cabrera backs out. 2-1 the count. Aside from the single the Tigers have, they've also picked up a couple of walks. So total it up through 6 innings, they've had 3 base runners. Mickey tries one to left. 4 base runners now. Leadoff single here in the 7th. Hey, tomorrow Major League Baseball on Fox Sports 1 returns as the Diamondbacks take on the Brewers at 4 Eastern. Then at 7 Eastern, it's Baseball Night in America on Fox as the Royals take on the Cubs. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox and Fox Sports 1. Here is Yoenis Cespedes. Fly out, strikeout for Cespedes. Ball 1 high. Yoenis now at 282. Came in with really good numbers against Santiago. 4 for 11, couple of homers. But Hector's got him a couple of times tonight. Ball high, 2-0. That's in there, off speed, drops in 2-1.
It's a good pitch. And no doubt Cespedes looking for a fastball in that particular count. And 2 balls and no strikes, and Santiago able to drop a off-speed pitch in there very nicely.
Iannetta flashing the signs and the target. Fouled straight back.
Cespedes has had a couple of really good swings at fastballs tonight thrown by Santiago, but he's fouled them straight back. If you weren't with us a couple of innings ago, I told you that Santiago this year throws his fastball about 70% of the time.
Two and two, the count stays. Angels got Santiago a couple of years ago in a deal, a 3-team deal that involved Mark Trumbo. Skied again, foul, and back into the seats. 2 and 2, the count stays on Yoenis Cespedes. This will be the 90th pitch coming up for the left-hander Santiago. Got under it, popped it up. Shallow center field. Featherston. Cespedes is out, 1 gone. And Cabrera retreats to first base. Moving up J.D. Martinez. J.D. has a single that led things off in the 5th. He would steal a base, but was stranded at 3rd. As far as he got. Sends this one high in the air to left center field. Ball hit well, going to the warning track and caught up against the wall by Newman Heiss. It almost carried out. Santiago, tip of the cap.
JD didn't quite get it. Got underneath it, and the ball was stayed up a long, long time, and it gave Neuenhuis a lot of time to finally run it down at the base of the wall.
Just missed it.
As soon as that ball left JD's bat, I never thought it really had a chance, but it almost got out of here.
I agree. I thought it was going to be deep, maybe to the warning track. Maybe. And it almost left. 2 outs now for McCann. Ball 1. That would have tied the game had it gone. Here's the 1-0. McCann fouls it back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. James 0 for 2, grounded back to the mound and struck out. Well, we told you Santiago coming in has had good numbers career against the Tigers, whether with the White Sox or the Angels.
Also has pitched very well in this ballpark.
Twirling a good one tonight, although he just got away with one. Here's the 1-1. 2-1 on McCann. Two and two. Tigers won 2 out of 3 against the Athletics. That was in Oakland to start this West Coast swing. Looked like they might have some momentum coming here to Anaheim, where they just have struggled mightily over the years.
Santiago has thrown McCann quite a few changeups here this evening. Everybody else getting fastballs, but he is giving him changeups down and away. It looks like another one's coming right here.
Just missed it again. Santiago a step or 2 back to the dugout.
Went outside, but he went outside with a cutter.
Three and 2. Runner going on 3-2. Lost it. Ball 4. So that's going to put the tying runs on now. It's going to bring up Castellanos. Third walk of the game for Santiago. Cabrera goes to second. McCann at first. Mike Scioscia monitoring the situation closely from his dugout. Nick fouls it back out of play. Well, here's another one of those big situations where the Tigers just have not been able to come up with too many clutch hits on this road trip. We'll see if Castellanos can come through here with 2 outs. He's at 243 with runners in scoring position this year. And there is some action now in the bullpen. Cam Bedrosian warming up. No balls, 1 strike on Castellanos. 2-0 Angels lead. We're in the 7th inning with 2 on. Strike called, and the count now is 0-2 on Nick. Tigers this year 277 with men in scoring position. Tonight though, or in the series I should say, 1 for 8, including last night. Here's the 0-2. Bouncing in. Nice stop at home by Iannetta. Ball bounced in front of the plate. .100 now for Hector Santiago. The 21 he has thrown here in the 7th makes it his longest inning. Tigers have the tying runs on. Socha rarely moves from that spot that he has camped out in his home dugout, hoping that Santiago can get him through the 7th. Here's the 1-2. Foul away. Hernan Perez waiting on deck. Tigers did not get their first hit of this game until the 5th inning. And they've managed only 2 so far in the game.
Only 5 hits last night.
Yeah, how many of those came? I think 3 of them came in the 9th.
Yeah.
They had 2 going into the final inning. Grounded foul outside of the bag. Well, I don't know about you, Rob, but I look at this lineup night in and night out, and I wonder how the Tigers can go through stretches like this.
It's puzzling. David Dombrowski's put together a really good offensive team. And it's not like guys aren't hitting for average. It's not like guys haven't driven in quite a few runs this year, but it just seems like in the clutch lately, no one has gotten that big hit. Guys are starting to press a little bit. Rajai trying to get it done by himself. Last half inning after stealing second in scoring position already. Tried to steal third. He was thrown out.
Got him. Strike 3, and Castellanos is caught looking, and 2 men are left on base. Another frustrating at bat with men on base. Coming up, the Dick Scott Automotive 7th inning stretch. More hits tonight as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Sanchez 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, and Santiago's been a little bit better. Home run by Pujols in this game, and error has cost the Tigers another run.
Sanchez already at 107 pitches thrown in this game. And Brad trying to squeeze one more inning out of Sanchez. His bullpen the last 2 days has thrown a combined 9 innings.
Kirk Neuenhuis will lead things off, and Featherston and Giavatella. 1-1 on left-handed batting Kirk Neuenhuis. Originally a third-round pick of the Mets, just picked up by the Angels a couple of days ago for the old cash considerations. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Sanchez carved him up a couple of times tonight. One out here in the seventh. 8 strikeouts now for Anibal. Here's Taylor Featherston. He is now 0 for his last 19.
We haven't seen Anibal throw many of those slow curveballs here today, but he does there to start off Featherston with a strike.
Featherston batting 0-38. He is now 1 for 26 on the season. Shoots one back out of play. Featherston played his college ball at TCU. In fact, was there at the same time that Brian Holiday was there. They were teammates. Featherston a shortstop for TCU, and of course Holiday catching.
TCU must have a pretty good program. They've got quite a few guys in the big leagues.
Here's the 0-2. Yeah, I was looking up some of the numbers when Brian was there. One year he hit 17 home runs for TCU. Holiday, big time performer there. 0-2 on Featherston. Swing and a miss. That's a foul ball. Emphatically, Will Little said he fouled it onto the ground. So no strikeout. McCann tried to sell it. Froze him for strike 3. So the strikeouts starting to pile up now for Sanchez.
Most of Anibal's strikeouts here tonight have come on off speed pitches, whether it be the changeup or that slow breaking ball that he just threw there. A couple of other guys that played collegiately at TCU, we just saw him. Matt Carpenter of the St. Louis Cardinals and Jake Arrieta also played there.
Driven toward left field. Cespedes runs over there and makes the catch. So it'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Anibal Sanchez. 7 in the books. You're watching Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire.
In the fourth inning, a rare error by Ian Kinsler, only his third error of the year. In Pujols, he connected again on off-speed pitch for his second home run of the series. The Tigers, they just are trying too hard. Rajai had already stolen second, and he forced the issue stealing on the next pitch, and he was thrown out. Castellanos frozen on a fastball, but Castellanos not the only one that's been frozen on that fastball inside tonight by Santiago.
And Hector going back out there for his 8th inning of work. It's 2-0 in favor of the Angels. It'll be Perez, Iglesias, Davis for the Detroit Tigers.
And Santiago barely over the century mark in pitches thrown. He's at 105.
Perez 0 for 2. There are the numbers on Santiago tonight. 3 walks, 6 in the strikeout column. Perez turned on that, drives it foul. Santiago threw 124 pitches in his last outing. It's been over 100 every start this year except one. Here's the 1-2. Perez looks at it high, 2-2. Hernan now is 2 for 32 this year offensively. Swing and a miss. And Santiago has another strikeout, his 7th. 1 gone in the 8th. We'll bring up Iglesias. 0 for 2 tonight for Jose. A strikeout and a ground out. Foul back 0-1. Tigers have 2 more games here with the Angels. And Bedrosian still warming up in their bullpen. On the outer edge and very quickly 0-2 on Iglesias. Fouled away.
And Bedrosian, his dad also pitched in the big leagues. His first name was Steve.
He was good. Bedrosian had a lot of success in the big leagues.
Where was he? Atlanta a lot?
Atlanta, yeah, mostly that I can recall. Flared down the right field line. Will it land fair? It will. He dumps a single into right field, and the Tigers have another hit. 1-out single for Iglesias. Fans follow the Tigers all season long with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, statcast, and radio broadcasts as well. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or your tablet. It appears that may be it for the left-hander Santiago. Mike Scioscia says nicely done. Here comes Cam Bedrosian. And a nice round of applause coming for Santiago and a wall side windows pitching change. Tigers here in the 8th. And the new pitcher now is right-hander Cam Bedrosian.
Bedrosian has a big arm. His fastball averaged 95 miles an hour. He also has a slider, a changeup, and a curveball, but we will not see those pitches in this particular situation. Rajai Davis is going to get a steady diet of heaters.
Santiago's numbers 7 1/3, 3 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts, and 3 walks. The Angels also have their closer now, Houston Street, beginning to heat up. We're in the 8th, 1 on, 1 out, 2-run game. Rajai walked in his last at bat, otherwise 0 for 2. Iglesias dumped a single into right field, chasing Santiago. Rajai batting .262. Way high. I mentioned Cam's dad Steve was a big league pitcher. In fact, won the Cy Young back in 1987 with the Phillies when he saved 40 ball games that year as their closer. Way high again. 2-0. Not even close on those 2 pitches. And so Iannetta goes out to the mound to kind of settle him down a little bit. Mike Scioscia depending on the bullpen with a slim lead tonight, 2-0. Tigers only 3 hits in this contest tonight. Rajai waiting patiently. Here's the 2-0. He had a rip, fouled it back out of play, 2-1. Sanchez pitched pretty well tonight as well. In fact, he gave up only 6 hits, and one of the runs he gave up was via an error by Kinsler. And the only other run he gave up was courtesy of a homer to Pujols. Rajai sends one foul down the right field line. About 4 or 5 rows back. I think got close to the pole down there. The 2-2. Driven to right field. That's going to drop. Base hit. Iglesias will go to second, and the Tigers have something going now. 2 on and 1 out.
And Rajai knew he was going to get a fastball. He knew it was going to be in the mid-90s, and he didn't try to do too much with it. Simply went with a pitch for a solid single the opposite way.
That'll be the 4th hit of the night for the Tigers. Santiago can only watch from the dugout. Nick Butcher is out again. This time having a chat with Bedrosian. So another opportunity presents itself for the Tigers. There's Houston Street. Street warming up here in the 8th. May have to come on for a multi-inning save, or at least the opportunity for one. Santiago gave up the single to Jose Iglesias. That was his last batter. Now here is Kinsler. He's 0 for 3. In there, strike one.
That last fastball thrown to Kinsler, 96 miles an hour.
Pickoff throw, but Iglesias gets back in there. Bedrosian went an inning and 2/3 scoreless in his last outing on Wednesday night, stranding a couple of inherited base runners. Hey, we got ourselves a beach ball in the booth.
How about that?
Where'd that come from?
Someone threw a beach ball from the upper deck and it landed in the booth.
Oh, there it is. You gonna keep that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, keep it, man.
California,
You
man.
play a little hoosh with that. Here, take a
I
shot.
might go to the beach tomorrow.
That thing came out of nowhere. 0-1. Bender in for a strike, and now Kinsler down in the count, 0-2.
96 with the first fastball, and then he throws an 81-mile-per-hour curveball there to Ian. But if you're Kinsler here, you have to stay ready for that fastball. Can't look for anything else in this situation. If he throws you a breaking ball and he locates it, you just got to tip your hat.
Bouncing ball to first base. Pujols will hit the pitcher covering for the out, but now the tying runs both in scoring position.
Well, here's where you have to manage. You've got one of the best hitters in baseball coming to the dish in Miguel Cabrera, and there is an open base. But if he walks Miggy, he puts the winning run on base, but they're going to walk him anyway.
Yeah, I don't think you can do anything but this, can't you?
Well, most managers never put the winning run on base, but Miggy is special.
This calls for special measures, and so Cabrera is going to be walked intentionally.
And you cannot fault Mike Scioscia. His best opportunity at preserving this lead is not pitching to Miguel. And they pretty much handled him the last couple of years. He really hadn't done a whole lot against the Angels pitching staff.
No, didn't do much last year and hadn't done a whole lot so far this season. Here comes ball 3. So they will walk Cabrera intentionally here to load the bases, and yet another opportunity presents itself for the Tigers.
But does he go to Houston Street after the base on balls here?
Ah, good question. He may just do that. Yeah, here comes Scioscia. He's going to want his closer now. Intentional walk number 10 for Cabrera to lead the American League.
The last time Houston Street got 4 outs to preserve a save, you got to go all the way back to August 13th of 2013. So he doesn't do it very often.
Well, he's coming in now. It's another Wallsend Windows pitching change. We'll be back to the Big A. few days, the FIFA Women's World Cup begins as Alex Morgan leads the U.S. women's national team against the best teams in the world in search of their third World Cup title. The only place you can see the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup is on Fox and Fox Sports 1 beginning June 6th. Well, we'll see if the Tigers can get a big hit here against the closer, Houston Street.
He's been pretty good in save situations this year. 14 of 16 is Houston Street. I just told you the last 4-out save back in 2013 of August. He's got a decent sinker, right around 90, 91. He throws a lot of sliders. He also has a changeup and a curveball, but the percentage very low on those two pitches.
Here is Cespedes. 0 for 3, popped up in his last at bat. 319 this year with men in scoring position. The Tigers are just aching for a big hit.
And Cespedes has done some of his best work in the big leagues in this particular situation. A .438 batting average, career with 39 ribbies. And they desperately need a big hit.
Yoenis looks at strike one. Cespedes with the bases loaded career .438, not too shabby this year. 4 for 9.
Street kind of rare. He was a closer in college at the University of Texas, and then closed in the minor leagues, closed in the big leagues, and he's been closing every step of the way. It's not usually the norm.
Low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Street has converted 31 of 35 save opportunities since joining the Angels last year. Signed a 2-year contract extension on May 13th.
After they acquired him, he really solidified their bullpen, a lot like what Joakim Soria has done for the Tigers bullpen this season.
1 ball and 1 strike. We're in the 8th. Bases loaded with Tigers. Ground ball, foul ball. Well, if that's not a microcosm of how it's gone for the Tigers, just outside of the bag at third.
Cespedes is a dead pull hitter. David Freese, their third baseman, and playing about 5 steps off the line. And once he dove, he was in foul territory.
1 and 2. They've got Iglesias at third base, Rajay down at second, and Miguel Cabrera at first.
I'd like to see Cespedes stay on one of these two-seamers or breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone and pull his hands in nicely and hit the ball the other way, right center field.
One and 2 on Yoenis Cespedes. Swing and a miss to strike him out. Boy, oh boy. The Tigers will leave him loaded. Houston Street Cespedes on a breaking ball to leave the bases loaded, so the Tigers still down by 2, and Angel Nesbitt now is in for Detroit.
And Nesbitt started to rack up the appearances this year in his rookie campaign in the big leagues, now pitching in his 21st game. Checks in with a 372 earned run average, 13 strikeouts, 5 base on balls for Nesbitt. Fastball, mid-90s, nice breaking ball, 2-seamer, also changeups.
So Nesbitt goes to work here now, and he will face Mike Trout, who will start things off for the Angels. Angels 2 runs, 6 hits. Tigers no runs on 4 hits. And Trout looks at ball 1. Single strikeout flyout tonight for Trout. That's it for a strike, 1-1. Driven toward left field. Right at Cespedes. 1 gone.
Here is the Nissan drive of the game for the second consecutive night here against Tigers pitching. Albert Pujols, homer, 2-run home run last night against Buck Farmer. Solo shot tonight against Anibal Sanchez, who was pretty good tonight. He gave up a couple of runs here tonight, but had 9 strikeouts, and he pitched well enough to win.
Well, especially when you consider that Sanchez gave up 7 runs in each of his last 2 starts. He certainly pitched well enough to get a W tonight. Maybe the Tigers have a comeback in him in the 9th, but right now down by 2. Pujols' home run was a big one to stretch the lead a little bit. His 10th of the year. He drives this one opposite of the shift into right field, base hit. 3 hits tonight for Albert. He's going to bring up Calhoun. Tigers have lost 10 of their last 11 here in Anaheim. Calhoun 1 for 3. Now we're going to get a pinch runner for Pujols.
That doesn't even sound right. The kind of teams the Tigers have had the last couple of years. To come in this ballpark and get manhandled like that.
Grant Green going to come on a pinch run. Yeah, and we mentioned this last night. It's not like the Tigers have brought in some bad teams here the last couple of years. These are teams that have gone to the playoffs. So more speed down there at first base. Here's Calhoun. Strike 1. Tigers in the 9th inning have Martinez, McCann, Castellanos. Nesbitt trying to make sure it stays 2-0. Calhoun had a rip there, grounded it foul. 0-2. Shane Green will go tomorrow night for the Tigers, and then David Price on Sunday.
I was walking to get some breakfast this morning, and I saw David Price and Shane Green on bicycles. And they said they had already ridden about 3 miles. They rode to breakfast, and they've got these bikes, Mario, that they fold up. Right, they fold up and they travel the bikes with them, and they just pull them off the plane and they bring them to the they bring them to the hotel, and I guess they just whatever they fold up.
They unfold them
and then they ride them. I mean, I looked up and here's Price and Green.
Well, David's a big biker. In fact, every city we go to, he's always on Twitter asking people, where can I get myself a bike? So apparently he's got one that folds up. Pretty cool.
It is.
Nesbitt ready with the 1-2. Fouled away. David Price is a very interesting guy. We've gotten to know him a little bit now the last half of last year and this year. Varied interests, very intelligent guy.
Great teammate.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Cole Calhoun, David Freese on deck.
Not to mention a really good pitcher.
Here's the 1-2, driven toward the shortstop. Little pop-up, look out. Third baseman Perez jumped right in front of Iglesias. 2 gone. Let's check in with John Keating for a moment. Keats?
Well, Mario, it'll be interesting here tomorrow night because as the Tigers and Angels play Game 3 of their series, across the expressway is the home of the Anaheim Ducks, and they will be playing Game 7 of their Western Conference final against the Chicago Blackhawks. The Tampa Bay Lightning earlier tonight won their way into the Stanley Cup final, so the Ducks and the Hawks trying to find out which team is going to meet the Lightning in the Cup finals. And Scotty Bowman, longtime Red Wings coach, currently working in the front office with his son Stan with the Chicago Blackhawks, took in the game last night. We saw him outside the Tigers clubhouse postgame last evening. So hockey in these parts is big once more.
Keats, you're a hockey guy. Who do you got in Game 7?
I got the Hawks.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
In enemy territory, winning tomorrow night.
Don't say that too loudly, Dan.
Yeah, I know. I got it.
Thanks, buddy. It's fouled back out of play by right-handed batting David Freese. 0-2 the count. Double walk and a strikeout for Freese. Nesbitt ready with the 0-2. Whistled foul back out of play. Speaking of the Blackhawks, I was down in the workout room this morning and a bunch of guys came strolling in, man. These guys were in tremendous shape, and I just looked at them going, what in the world are these guys?
Yeah, they've had a nice day.
Yeah, it was
sure
a bunch of the Blackhawks came rolling in.
Yeah, they were out by the pool a little bit later on, chilling.
Big game coming up for them tomorrow night, Game 7. You see those guys rolling in, you kind of put a few more miles an hour on the treadmill to make it look like you're working harder, like you can keep up with them. Run a few extra laps on the treadmill. 1-2.
Something about coming to this type of weather that just kind of makes you want to get up and take a stroll in the morning or ride a bike or, go down to the workout room.
Well, it could be that your body clock is all off and you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning all the time.
Yeah, the trip did start out like that for me. I'm better now, though.
Checked it, did not go. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, if you're Nesbitt, you might want to go right back out there with that same slider to see if you can get Freese to swing through it.
McCann out there for a quick chat. Again, the Tigers in the ninth have Martinez, McCann, Castellanos. Right now a 2-0 game. 2 runs, 7 hits Angels. No runs, 4 hits Tigers. Hit to third. Look at that pick by Hernan Perez. Nicely done. A bullet hit to the left side of the infield. Perez gets the force, and we go to the ninth. The top of the ninth inning, 2-0 in favor of the Angels. And it's going to be Houston Street out there to try and close it down. Greg Green is the new first baseman.
Yeah, Houston Street came on in the 8th inning to get the strikeout of Yoenis Cespedes. But he did something that he has not done in the last couple of years. He had to go down and sit on the bench and wait for 3 outs to come back out again. We'll see if it has any effect on him.
Here is J.D. Martinez. Here's ball 1 outside. Martinez, single, strikeout, flyout. Only 4 Detroit hits tonight. J.D. looks at a strike right at the knees, and he's going to jawbone now with Will Little.
It's borderline.
Houston Street will forever be remembered as the guy that served up the home run to Maglio Ordonez back in 2006. High fly ball. This will stay in the ballpark. Right fielder Cole Calhoun. 1 out. Anthony Gose will pinch hit for McCann. Tigers need a base runner here to bring the tying run up. Gose did not start in this one because of the lefty Hector Santiago. Gose is announced. Back out of play 0-1. Only the second pinch hit appearance this year for Gose. He's 0 for 1. Here are the season numbers then, Anthony. 329. 11 RBIs. Ripped and caught. Giamatello at second base hauls it in, 2 gone.
Tigers 1 out away from being shut out for the second time on this current road trip.
Here's Castellanos. Nick is 0 for 3. Breaking ball missing away, 1-0. That's it for a strike. 1-1.
Houston Street is the perfect example of not necessarily needing a mid-90s fastball to be very successful as a closer. When you can locate your fastball and your 2-seam, when you've got a nice slider and you keep the ball down, you can save a lot of games.
Castellanos chasing breaking ball low and away.
There's that breaking ball at 81.
Now the crowd to its feet, 1 strike away from winning the first 2 in this series. Here's the 1-2. Went back out there, but Castellanos wouldn't bite. 2-2. Street struck out Cespedes with the bases loaded in the 8th. Checked it, went around. Strike 3 called. He has struck out Castellanos to win the game. Houston Street comes out of the bullpen, retires all 4 that he faces.
And only needed 14 pitches to do so.
And the Angels Angels have won the first 2 games in the series. Tigers offense again just struggling. Final score tonight, 2-0 Angels. The winner, and we'll be back.